So we'll just start with the NBA Finals, because that's fresh off our minds. I feel like that concluded last night. The Warriors finished the series in 6 games, in Boston. Impressive performance, I think, in Game 6. That was pretty much the most impressive game I think I saw from the Warriors. Just handling the adversity at first, slow start. I think it was around 12-2. They were losing to start, and then they just once they tied it up, they just went up like 20 at one point, and it was just from that point on there was no comeback. The Boston Celtics, they tried a little bit. They came within 10 or single digits, I remember at one point, but the Warriors just took it and ran with it pretty much the whole way. So, I mean, I've talked about the series a little bit on the podcast. So, what have you seen, I guess, from this whole series pretty much? What's your perspective on it?
Uh, the X factor was Andrew Wiggins. And he just shut down Tatum
Yeah.
because like Tatum was the guy who needed to step up and put up 30, 35 every night, and he didn't. And Wiggins just shut him down. I'm so impressed. I feel like I'm dreaming. My favorite player, stuck with him. But yeah, personally, I thought Boston, like before the series even started, I thought Boston was gonna take it. They were just on a roll. But Golden State, they were just built for this moment, and it really showed.
Yeah.
Steph too. I'm impressed with Steph. Like this was his first Finals MVP, wasn't it?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. They were down 2-1 and then just win the series in 6. So,
Mhm.
that's impressive. I think even Steve Kerr was saying like this is probably one of the most surprising championships just because they weren't necessarily favored. I think before the season that the team that was favorite was pretty much like the Bucks, Suns, Lakers.
Mhm.
Warriors were around like number 4 because, just what they've been through the past 2 years, but they had a great season, came into the playoffs as I believe a number 3 seed in the West.
Mhm.
And handled the Grizzlies, handled the Mavericks, and then the Celtics. They dealt with that too, where there were moments where you felt like the Celtics were okay up for the challenge and they can deal with anything that Golden State throws at them. But then it just felt like at moments where it was Golden State couldn't be stopped when they got into the flow, and that's where I saw in Game 6. I was like, okay, they're in the flow and they can't be stopped. When they're having those type of moments, it doesn't matter if they're on the road or at home. Like they can take over, and they've been in these moments. They've been in these moments where they've had to clinch a series on the road, um, and they haven't gotten it done before in the past. Like say with Cleveland, they were up 3-1. They had plenty of times to clinch it. They never did. But they've also had those moments where they did clinch it, and this was one of those times. So they're battle tested. They're still a threat, still a dominant force in this league. So that's the most impressive thing. And yeah, like you said, Wiggins, like uh, there was a moment where I was just like, Wiggins might get the Finals MVP, but then I just had to
I thought
remember,
so
like,
too.
I was like,
No.
okay, Curry hasn't gotten the Finals MVP, and he's obviously the best player on the best team, so it makes sense to give it to Curry. But if it wasn't Curry, I would say Wiggins, just because of how he was playing on both sides of the ball. Like probably second offensive option for them above Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole, and then defensively on Tatum, like you had to have somebody who could stop Tatum and deal with him, and that's what Wiggins did. He did that the whole series. Didn't take any nights off, and he was just ready for everything that came with being a Golden State Warrior. So, I was happy for Wiggins. I pretty much followed him his whole career in the NBA. So I feel like, over the moon about what happened last night. So that's pretty cool to see. And yeah, it was impressive by the Warriors last night.
Yeah, that was. I'm still kind of shocked. Like I kind of was expecting it to go to 7,
Mm-hmm.
but no, their defense last night was unbelievable. It was like because the Celtics, they were the team that was the lockdown physical defense team all season, or I guess the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then last night, Golden State just beat them at their own game. Honestly,
Yeah,
like is
for sure. Their
Kevon
defensive
Looney too.
team. Yeah,
Kevon Looney,
Kevon Looney. Yeah,
he was impressive. He's been impressive. Played every single game. He's a big part of that championship.
yeah, I agree. I think there were games where he was left out the starting lineup for Otto Porter,
Yeah.
and then they played a small ball lineup with Draymond at the 5. But
Mhm.
yeah, he was a big part of their whole season. Very impressive what they were able to do. I felt like the first few games, the Warriors kind of noticed like they were getting outmatched physically. So they had to change some things up. And you could see like after that, after it was 2-1, like they just matched the defensive intensity. Just that was really the only thing that was hurting them. And I feel like once they matched that, it was their game to lose. So yeah, I liked what I saw from them. It was good. But yeah,
Klay
anything else?
Thompson too.
Huh?
Klay Thompson, first season back, 900 and it's like 905 days he missed.
Mm-hmm.
Gets back, wins a chip right away. No time missed.
Yeah, it
Proud
was.
of that guy.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Like he played a big part in their playoff run. He might not have been at 100% this year, but just the fact that he was still able to hit big shots and play a key role in the rotation, like that was more than enough. So, they'll be even better next year if he's, back at full
Yeah, and we
strength.
got Wiseman,
Wiseman will be
Kuminga,
Wiseman, Kuminga will
Moody.
develop, Moody will develop.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're set. Sure,
Yeah.
Draymond had some poor games this series, but he stepped up.
Yeah.
Man. He stepped up the
He did
last
step
couple
up.
games. Yeah.
Draymond's kind of he gets everyone going.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he's a little too much
Yeah.
and it costs them. Like when
Mm-hmm.
he gets like kicked out for eating two techs,
Yeah.
like a flagrant two. But yeah, he's like perfect that last game. He kind of had the perfect balance of like intensity and like just kind of keeping his cool. Like if something went wrong, he'd get mad at the refs, but he wouldn't like get in their face and start clapping in their face when
Yeah.
they get
Yeah.
kicked out. So
Yeah.
yeah, because
Defensively,
without Draymond,
he was insane. Yeah, the whole series. I think just ending the series, um, pretty much after I think the last bad game he had was uh game 4. Um, one of those
yeah,
games, I think it was game 4, one of those games in Boston, and he was acknowledging it on his podcast and everything,
yeah,
and being like, "Hey, even though they benched me, at key moments in the game, like key moments in the fourth quarter, like he still like understood like he wasn't playing well enough." So I think he put an emphasis on like being aggressive on offense for sure, um, pushing the pace in the fast break, just doing the little things that we'd be used to seeing from Draymond, and having an effect on the game without like, I guess, scoring, because like that's the Draymond we know. It's not all
yeah.
about the scoring with him. It's just about being effective in different ways, and
Being
that's what he was
chippy.
doing. Yeah,
He was really getting Tatum's side and Marcus Smart. He was like those two guys. I noticed he was throwing elbows and kind of just really getting Marcus Smart's head.
mm-hmm.
And because Marcus Smart, he can go and get 25 points.
Yeah, he
And
can do that. He's definitely capable of doing that. I was
Draymond
kind
just
of
really
expecting
played
that
his role.
yesterday,
Yeah, yeah, me too. I thought he was gonna. I thought him and Tatum were both gonna put up 25.
hmm but yeah, overall, good game. Good game from the Celtics.
Yeah, good
Good,
season.
good season, honestly. Good playoffs. Battled through multiple game sevens. Um, but yeah, ultimately, yeah, that's the Warriors. Like they're a tough team to handle. They hit another gear, I think, in this series that I didn't see. in another series because I think they just realized at the moment, and that's what sets them apart from other teams. So it was nice to watch, even as a I guess a neutral in that moment. Like still seeing the Warriors on top was good, and there's nothing you can say about it. They didn't have a stacked team with Kevin Durant. Like they were still
They're deep.
they're deep with talent. Like it didn't matter. They were winning with before Kevin Durant. They're winning after Kevin Durant. So
Yeah. It really was like the battle of like the two best front offices and owners, in my opinion. So you got Brad Stevens on one end, and you got Bob Myers on the other end. Those
yeah.
are like the two best guys front office wise, I think, in the entire league. And you got I like Lacobe. I think Lacobe he's the best owner in the league by a mile. And I don't know, was Boston in the luxury tax at all?
I'm not
Because
sure.
Golden State was in the luxury tax by quite a bit. And I really like that how Joe Lacobe is willing to go into the luxury tax and pay all that extra money, take those penalties because he just wants to see his team win. I really respect that.
Yeah, just in terms of the future, I don't know how they're going to be able to keep some of these guys that might, be getting paid, but they always find a way. That's the thing about them. Like,
Yeah.
Gary Payton for sure will get paid. Like, I think he was on a minimum contract this year because every other year in the league he was just bouncing around, but this year he found a home and like he's shown that he can be a key player. He played really well in the finals too. So I think he'll have to get paid, and then obviously maybe Poole Poole will get paid, and then we'll see what they do with the Wiggins because Wiggins still has that big contract he got from Minnesota. And then Jonathan Kuminga, maybe he's another guy that'll get paid down the line,
and
Moody too. So
and
Wiseman. So yeah, it's just they'll find a way.
And Moody and Otto Porter.
Like they'll find a way. I feel like some guys just may sacrifice, take a.
I don't think Otto Porter is going to stay.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
I think since he was already on a small deal this year, I think a team will give him a multi-year contract, maybe a 2-year, because he's shown that like that's really why you take those small deals is to get a bigger one. So I think he'll get another big one. But yeah, I think some players will like some veteran players will be like, okay, I'll come to the Warriors on a 1-year deal and just do that. Like I think that'll be smart.
Even with that, it's just too much. They're gonna have to drop somebody.
No, they for sure will because they have.
Part of me thinks it's gonna be Draymond. I don't know. I kind of think that. I don't know why I think it is gonna be Draymond or maybe Clay, but I think it's gonna be Draymond.
Well, I don't see Clay, but maybe Draymond when his contract expires and maybe they feel like Kuminga could replace him.
Yeah, or Wiggins.
I mean, because like obviously, yeah, they have players that are due big money. I'm not sure what Draymond's contract is at this point or what's remaining, but I think he'll definitely he'll stay for sure till the end of his contract.
Yeah.
It expires in that 2024 season, so I think he'll stay just because obviously his numbers may be declining, but just the impact he has. And then we'll see like where they value him in the 2024 offseason because it'll probably be a way different. Kuminga could be developed by then. They'll have different decisions to make.
He'd have to take a pay cut, but like I don't know if Draymond would do that. He's got too much pride.
maybe in 2024 he's like Andre Iguodala type thing, and it's just I'll stay. I'll keep staying, just small contracts and just win.
Yeah, I think he'll be more like Udonis Haslem than Andre Iguodala in terms of like staying there for the long run.
The whole thing. So just be like even when he's like washed and just being on the bench.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I could see that too. Because I don't know. I don't see him on another team, but maybe that like I'm not saying he can't impact another team. I just say like he fits what this team needs. Like he was a big part in them winning the
Mhm.
championship. Like he still plays a major role.
Yeah, I guess it really just depends where he's at. Like you were saying in 2024,
2024
have to make
offseason.
that decision.
Yeah.
Because if he's washed, he can just kind of be like that assistant coach who
Right. Just
plays sometimes and then just kind of ride that out. But if he's still good, or if he's still able to make 20 million,
hmm
I don't I don't really know if he's gonna it's gonna be really tough. They just have so many guys and they need to have a future. They can't just have three old guys sitting there playing like 10
yeah.
minutes a game, getting paid 40 million. Or I guess Draymond probably makes like 23 million, something like that.
Draymond, so he's making, well, this year he made 24 million a year. Next year he'll make around 26. Then final year will be around 27 and a half.
Yeah, he's good, but you can't like they can't be paying him that with all their guys. And they're gonna
Yeah.
have to really Poole's gonna have to take a pay cut too.
Yeah, I mean, like this was definitely Draymond's big contract, and
Yeah.
like that'll be the last one he gets. That's this big, like. But yeah, Poole, I think, I think you'll have to give Poole a considerable amount of money. Like he deserves the bag. I don't think like when you're that young, you have to get what you deserve.
Mhm.
Um, and then Wiggins, maybe he'll have a different like outlook since he's already gotten paid a big deal.
Yeah.
But he also is a all-star starter. No matter how
Yeah.
controversial that is, like he
Yeah.
still deserves
K-pop.
compensation. Yeah.
K-pop. You hear
Yes.
about that with Wiggins?
Huh?
The Warriors like influencer who's like he's like a K-pop artist, and that's how Wiggins became a starter.
Oh, really? I mean, I know about K-pop, but like I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Warriors have some
Oh,
influencer
okay. So
who's
he influenced like the voters.
yeah, he just had a huge following in Korea or like
Yeah,
K-pop
yeah,
fans, and he's like, "Hey, vote Andrew Wiggins for All Star." And Wiggins was like, he's already there, like for
yeah.
the reserves, but like that's what
That
pushed him
definitely
to
elevated it.
become
Okay.
a starter. Was like that K-pop guy. I was reading about that on Reddit.
Okay, that's
That was a
nice.
pretty funny story.
That's definitely cool.